Yes. Just make sure that everybody talks into the mic so they can hear it, so I can hear it clearly.
Okay. All right, no problem.
I call this City Commission of the City of Pahokee workshop, budget workshop to order at 5:26 p.m. They would please stand for the invocation provided by Vice Mayor Mervin, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, we come before you today, God, to say thank you. Thank you for another day, God, that you have allowed us to be here today. God, as we come together, oh God, we ask you, oh God, to let us, oh God, and help us and give us wisdom and guidance to conduct the business of this city. Father God, we ask you, oh God, to let us, oh God, and you grant us wisdom and guidance. Oh God, we ask you, oh God, that we can be able to come together, God, to agree or disagree, but do it in the spirit of love. Father God, we ask you, God, look upon all of our citizens, all our staff, our commission, our mayors, everyone, God, that represent the city of Pahokee. Father God, we ask these things in your name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab,
Present.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Present.
Commissioner Bolden,
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez, Commissioner Perez, Interim City Manager,
Here.
City Attorney, City Clerk present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, staff, and thank each of our residents for being here to participate in our budget workshop of Tuesday, August the 9th, 2022. At this time, we have Commissioner Bolden on the line. We have a quorum, although we won't be making any official decision during the budget workshop, but we do have a quorum regardless. At this time, I turn this portion over to our interim city manager to lead us into the budget discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, staff and citizens of Pahokee. Are we able, Ms. Val, to show the PowerPoint up there or no?
It's behind you.
All right. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. This budget session, we will be discussing the budget and then a couple of items, the splash pad and the marina pool as a breakout. Next screen. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Rodney Lucas, the interim city manager for the city of Pahokee. We're going to go over the fiscal year 2023 proposed budget summary, other factors, financial updates, and closing remarks. Budget rationale. Maintain existing city services, maintain quality of life for residents and businesses, maintain healthy level of fund balances. Some of our critical dates regarding budget workshop and budget notices. So we're having our second budget workshop today, August 9th. We will be receiving in the mail the owners, property owners of our trim notice. August 18th it'll go out. Then our first hearing for tentative millage rate and budget is September 12th. Then the second hearing and final millage rate and budget will be September 27th. And then October 1 would be our new fiscal year. An adopted budget becomes effective. Cities proposing no millage increase. Current millage rate is 6.5419. Assessed value increase of 5.49%. Why do expenditures increase? We have inflation, technology concerns, recession, demands for services regarding our users, energy and fuel, marketplace supply and demand, post-COVID-19, supply chain issues, tariffs, war, and events. Pahokee tax bill, we make up 27% of the bill. As you can see, the county's at 37, school districts at 29, and then we have the other at 7%. When you look at your millage rate, when you get your taxes in the mail. Last year, I want to go over the general fund. Our current general fund is fiscal year 2022. Our revenues is $4,319,528. That includes a 2% COLA, living wage adjustment, adjustment to personnel salaries for former increased health care cost of 23.2%. Increase in retirement costs through FRS and Florida League of Cities, increased operation costs, conference costs, centennial celebration. These are things that have impacted our budget this season. For the FY23 general fund, we're currently looking at $4,872,661. And that budget is based on 56 positions with the city. We currently have 39 employees, including all 5 commissioners in that. This budget will look at 5% COLA adjustment, up to 5% performance-based merit for employees with greater than 6 months tenure, if that's approved by the commissioners. Increased health care costs, it's unknown at this time. We'll be coming up to negotiations for health care, and we'll know that number soon. Increased retirement costs based on increased employee salaries. We'll be getting those numbers here soon from both FRS and the Florida League of Cities. We are also incurring increased operation costs, conference costs, deferred maintenance of infrastructure, facilities, and equipment. Significant need to update and replace fleet vehicles. All that is demanding on our budget. Under City Commission action, we basically have to come to some hard choices. What would we like to do with our tax dollars of $800,000? It's eligible for affordable housing, early learning facilities. Remember, we're negotiating with Mr. Snodgrass and coming online with a daycare that we need to negotiate out with a memorandum of understanding for that. We want to improve our internet up at the marina and campground. I understand that the boaters and the public can't get sufficient internet, so we want to address that. job and workforce training. We want to make sure our current employees get the proper training. Also on-the-job training to be better employees and better stewards for the public. We want to come in online with some small business assistance. We want to look at pedestrian safety, recreational facilities, rehabilitation, renovations, and remediations for not only the city properties, but for our citizens. Another resource of dollars we have to look at is our ARPA dollars. And basically, this wasn't changed out, but we have an updated slide for this. I'll make sure we provide that. Apparently the cell didn't get changed, but we do have this information where it breaks down what we can use this for. So in ARPA, one of the things we were looking to ask is to prepay the sheriff's bill of $550,000, and then that would free up money. There's other things that we need to consider. I will make sure I get this out to you guys. I didn't realize that didn't update. Then just looking at direction, we have SIR tax dollars, we have ARPA. So basically, we're looking at 2.3 of dollars we need to spend. And we like to know as staff what kind of direction you would like us to move towards. I was able to forward you guys a few of the budget things and recommendations. Also, we need to look at it based on the needs of the city and a priority list. So those are things that I can bring back, just seeking direction from the commission on the 2023 budget.
Looking at the handout, the search tax dollars and your ARPA dollars, you have the same. And I think the surtax is a little different from.
Yeah, the sale, it's my fault. I had changed it on one PowerPoint and I didn't bring it over to the other. But I have it. It's, let's see here. I don't know if I can do it on my phone here.
While you're doing that, I know with the surtax dollars, I know basically a couple of years ago, there's already been characterized on what the surtax dollars would be used for. I don't think you can change, if I'm not mistaken from listening to Julissa from Florida City, I don't think you can change what it was used for, but you can call and they might can add if it's fall up under those scopes. You know, so, you know, I know they have some infrastructure. I think splash pad was on there. If I'm not mistaken, I think the football field was on there. It's a couple items I have it somewhere in my email that it was already sent over to Florida City what those surtax dollars were, you know, can be used for. So I know sidewalks, I think, is on there, but there is different projects that was already on there.
Yes, and we had a listing. It's my fault. I didn't go back and look at what I had versus what Lynn had. So
Yeah, I think I have somewhere.
and
in
I
my
can
email.
just shoot that out as soon as or if we get a break or close early enough, I can just make copies and bring that back over so we have a full understanding of what is needed. Next up is Carlos on doing a presentation for the splash pad and where we're at on that and what has happened. And then also the process we want to start on regarding the marina pool. So, Mr. Carlos?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, city residents. My name is Carlos Manuel. I'm the operations manager for the city. And I've been looking at the splash pad because I know it's a very interesting topic for the city and for the citizens. And I want to go through and review some of the things that we've discovered. Okay? Next page. First, we have the splash pad was built in the early 2000s. The current equipment is actually obsolete. The controllers and the aquadators no longer are manufactured. The condition of the toys under the splash pad are really unknown. The toys may be leaking under the pad. We are not sure because underneath we can't tell what's actually happening. The last that we were quoted to make repairs to it was $80,000 to change the control system, to bring it up to date and all that. Yet the company still states that they're not sure that would correct our problem. If you look, the next page shows you what we have currently. That's what our splash pad looks like. The next page. So what do? The new splash pad. What's the construction process? First thing we have to determine is the cost of the removal of the current splash pad and start again. Okay? Determine the construction cost of a new splash pad. It's currently estimated by the manufacturer that it would be 50% of the cost of the equipment. So if the equipment costs $200,000, it'll be another $100,000 to actually install it and build it. We need to determine the cost of the new toys. We've gotten a quote from the manufacturer right now. That's the range is between $65,000 to $75,000. We need to determine the new operating system. And again, we got this cost today, and the manufacturer claims that it's going to be anywhere between $120,000 to $175,000 for the operating of it. We need to determine funding sources. So we recommend that we turn it over to a capital improvement plan of $350,000 over the next 3 fiscal years. Next page. In the next page, you'll see this is the quote that we received from Votrex International, which is the manufacturer of all the equipment, of all the toys. And if you look, I don't know if it could be seen, the units are 3 different units, an 85-gallon per minute unit. The toys will cost us $65,000, and the operating system will cost us $150,000 at a cost of $215,000. The next one is 110 gallons per minute. Toys again, $65,000. System, $175,000 at a total cost of $240,000. The final one is a 64-gallon per minute with toys of $75,000, operating system $120,000 at a cost of $195,000 total. The next few slides you'll see are the actual, it's broken down by as the spreadsheet is. So the first unit would look like this. The second unit would look like this. And the last unit would look like this. So this is a breakdown of each and every one that we have on the spreadsheet.
How many additional toys do we have in this new design versus what we have now? A station, whatever you want to call it.
Well, if you look at the pictures, you'll see all the different stations Compared to what we have currently, I believe we only have 4 or 5 stations. But here, for example, the last pad that we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different stations versus what we have now with 5.
Okay, so we had an increase of 3. Have you also looked at Bell Glade
I have a question.
splash pad and see what the cost there would be? I know that with
When your mic is
this is a newer construction and the cost probably gonna be higher, but they do have a pretty nice splash pad. Not saying this one is not designed nicely too, but just as a comparison
I'll
and
reach
to
out.
see what their control system even costs, so we can at least have a comparison.
Yeah, I can reach out to the city of Belglades and
Yeah.
determine how much they spent on it,
Yeah.
and I can bring it back.
And also hear that we're talking about the funding source, looking at a 3-year funding period to be able to really complete this. I would suggest also that we put this on as part of our legislative request. We may get it, we may not, but at least we can ask for it. Right now, we only currently have 2 projects that we're requesting funding for. I know our lobby is saying that, you know, it's safer not to ask too much, but an additional project, I really don't see that being a hindrance. I would strongly suggest we try to include it in this year act
Yeah,
also.
we can get with our lobbyist and determine if we can add it.
Commissioner Bowden. Commissioner Bowden.
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to know, are we going to look into a system that recycles the water?
Yes, these systems are recycling the water. This is not a flow through. This is actual recirculation of the water. All these systems all 3 of the systems are recycling.
Then, remember, they were saying that we can have interchangeable units, toys that, you know, we can buy extra things and every year give a different look.
Right. The other solution, all the option also is to buy extra different toys that are interchangeable, so that every year when the season starts, we could change them a little, so that the children don't get bored and tired with the same piece of equipment all the time.
Is this the same company that we're looking at to build this splash pad versus the one who built the current splash pad?
Okay, the equipment that's there is from this company. They're the ones who build it. They don't install them. They supply all the equipment and the controlling systems, and then they have a different contractor that comes out and actually builds them for them.
Okay, so a better clarified question would be, are we looking at the same installer that we had at our previous plant?
No, we will look for a different installer. They have a few, and we will make sure that whoever installed this one will not install the next one. Now, the last slide has to do with the update on the marina pool. Right now, we got to determine the cost of repairing the leak at the marina pool. We will bring quotes on the next back to the commission on the August 23rd regular commission meeting so you are aware of how much it's going to cost. At this time, after discussions with the Public Health Department of Palm Beach, we've determined to close the pool at this time. So the pool currently will not be operating. We will be emptying it, covering it, and then we will get contractors in to price the repair to determine what the problem with the leak is, where's the leak, and how to fix it. That's all I have. Any questions?
Yeah, Just a quick question. What type of covering are we gonna be using? Is it something like a plastic overlay or something more doable if someone stumble and fall that they just wouldn't?
Yeah, we were discussing it this evening with the Public Works Department, and we are trying to determine to make it a safe cover so that there is no accidents.
Yeah, we would have to probably have it custom made since there was never a cover over the pool. So we, in the temporary time, we will put a tarp over it, but I'm with you, Mayor, that it needs to be something solid. And then we're gonna put the orange construction fencing around it to keep people from going over there.
If you look into pool covering is really sturdy covering. That's what they're made for. They're made for pool covering. And they're all types. There's some that, you know, you roll, just on the roll, you know, because I know we have one, and they're really, you can put an elephant on top of it and it don't,
Okay.
it don't go down.
I like to see that one.
Yeah, because they're made,
Elephant?
yeah, I'm serious, they're made for that. Their pool covers are made for that, for safety, and some of them they have where they lock. They also
Yeah,
lock
I know
at
they
so
got
many.
different design. That's why I was really trying to
Yeah,
get to the
they're
point
very
to
sturdy
get
pool
one.
covers.
I don't think they all of that sturdy, but it's
Well, you have to buy the right
possible.
ones. I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
yeah, that's
buying
what
the
I'm
right
saying.
pool
That's what we
covering.
need. Something that's gonna
Yeah,
be
we'll
safe.
make sure to look into one that
Well, they're
is
very
safe
sturdy.
for everyone.
And the last question, we're gonna be actually insuring or getting some type of guarantee on this splash pad, right? So we don't
Yes.
come across the same
Yes,
problem.
I already talked to the Vortex directly and then explained to them what had happened with this current pool. I mean, current splash pad, and I told them that we will be after them if it doesn't work. So they promised a guarantee, you know, for a certain amount of time, of course. Now, understand that the splash pad was actually installed in 2003. It's 19 years old. So I don't know prior how it operated when it first got installed, but I made it clear to them that it has to work. Mm. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, that concludes our budget workshop.
Okay. And the final question is, at our last budget workshop, did we cover all the departments, what we're looking at?
No, we didn't. What I'd like to do is I want to put out this week, the next couple of days, I know we have the conference to go to, but I want to look at what's the priority. I know I have had discussions with you guys individually, but I just want to look at that so that we can set what's a priority. I mean, we don't have to do a number amount, you know, like which is first, second, or third, but have like a top 10 list of what we're trying to address in the upcoming fiscal year. And then based on our revenues, our expenditures, our CIP, based on using the surtax and ARPA money.
I'm thinking he's talking about the full actual budget. The, if I'm not mistaken, Mayor, you correct me. I think where the budget comes, where all the numbers is, I think that's what he's talking about. And
Yeah,
each
so you
department
want
is broke down
the
with every department head each department is broke down in their budget.
Yes. So, Ms. Lynn, how close are we to showing the full budget with the enterprise funds and CIP?
I will continue working on it while we're at the conference, and they should have it electronically by the end of the week.
And then that way, and then the priority so that we can say what you guys want, or the citizens and the commission saying, here's how we want to move with spending the fund for these type of activities. Because usually with everything, the budget flexes out another $3 or $4 million. So, because last year was like a total was 7.9. So, you're correct, sir.
Well, we have time for any questions from the commission if they have any as far as the budget workshop is concerned. Any additional questions, Vice Mayor?
I wrote down one, but I couldn't find it. So not at this time. Let me write down one.
Commissioner Bolden, did you have any additional question you wanted to ask during the workshop? All right, we only have a few minutes anyway. We're gonna go ahead and adjourn our workshop session, and we'll reconvene for our regular commission meeting at 6 o'clock, which will be in 3 minutes. Regular commission of Tuesday, August the 9th, 2022 to order at 6:04 p.m. May we please stand for the invocation provided by Vice Mayor Mervin, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, once again we come before you, oh God, to conduct the business of this city. Father God, we ask you, God, for your leading and your guidance. God, we ask you, oh God, to give us direction on which way we should go. Father God, I pray for each and every one that's here tonight, God. Pray for all of our citizens, oh God. We pray, God, for all our city staff. We pray, God, for all our commission and our mayors. And God, we give your name the praise, the honor, and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab,
Present.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Present.
Commissioner Bolden,
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner Perez, Interim City Manager,
Here.
Acting City Attorney,
Here.
City Clerk, present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, staff, and thank each of our residents for being here today to participate in our regular scheduled commission meeting. At this time, we'll follow the agenda as presented. And first order is the additions, deletions, and approval of agenda items. City Manager, at this time, do we have in addition to the agenda?
None at this time, sir.
City Commission, hearing that there are no additions to the agenda, no deletions, what's your pleasure?
Mayor, I make motion that we would accept the agenda as read, please.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez. Wait. Vice Mayor Mervin,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Mayor Bab,
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move to public comments, public service announcements, presentation, proclamations. 3 minutes, please. Under the item, we have one presenter from PACE program, Mr. Chris Peterson. And I don't know if the city manager want to give a quick intro and then ask him to come forward.
Yes, sir. Mr. Peterson is here on behalf of the PACE program because we had a call about a week and a half ago from Dr. Wallace regarding solicitation of contractors to our area to do things such as roofs, solar panels, etc. And there was some confusion and some concern. So Ms. Boulay Washington reached out to the program at the state level to get answers for us. And I also alerted Lieutenant Muckridge of such activities. And a lot of things came about. And one of the things brought us forward to Mr. Peterson doing this presentation, sir. And with that said,
thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Chris Peterson, and I represent Fortify Financial. We are a PACE provider under the Florida PACE Funding Agency, which is a authorized local government here in the state of Florida. I'm joined by my colleagues, Jennifer Rojo Suarez. She represents Renew Financial, which is part of the FDFC. And Alex Alamo was Y Green in the Green Corridor. I did offer to do a presentation. I thought it might be helpful to understand a little bit more about what we do and how we operate. That might help to answer some questions. And then, of course, the direct questions about the mail, we're happy to discuss those as well. Thank you. So we have one colleague that is not able to join from Home Run, but they are under the same local government as Fortified. That's Home Run Financing. We're all under the FPFA, so I will be speaking for them tonight as well. If you can go to the next slide, please. So PACE is a financing mechanism. We are a way to finance home improvements, specifically wind mitigation improvements like doors and windows, like Vice Mayor utilized, roofs for reinsurance purposes, HVAC units in the event that yours might break, and often solar panels, but not as often as obviously those other more important improvements. We are repaid on the tax bill. The way that we're able to offer an interest rate between 5 and 8% is by being on the tax roll. That's how we're authorized by Florida Statute 163.08. And the state determined that there was a need for this type of financing. We do not require a credit score. You just have to be current on your mortgage payments, current on your tax payments, and have equity in your property, and then and the ability to repay, of course. So, I won't bother you with all of this stuff. I basically just summed it up. That we authorize the local government to levy non-ad valorem assessments to fund these certain improvements, which we call critical improvements, such as wind mitigation and energy efficiency. I'm going to go into the next slide, please. So this kind of breaks down the different providers. There are commercial providers and residential providers. We all operate under the same statute. And so you can see there's those 4 districts that I discussed today. We got the Florida Resiliency and Energy District, Florida PACE Funding Agency, Green Corridor, and the Florida Green Finance Agency, the FGFA, which is where Renew is. I actually misspoke, sorry about that. So you can go to the next slide, please. So we're in a good percentage of the state at this point. We are authorized. That does include Palm Beach County. We are in the middle of strengthening the ordinance to reflect our current business practices here in Palm Beach County. So there are additional consumer protections that will be enacted here. First reading is on the 23rd of August. You can go to the next slide, please. So again, these types of improvements impact windows and doors, roofing, HVAC, solar, generators, lighting installation, water heaters, pool pumps, pool heaters. That's really it. This isn't for kitchens, bathrooms, vanity improvements. This is not what we do. These are for critical improvements to help with the health and safety of the families that live in them. Please go to the next slide. So these are voluntary. There is no need to, there's no government money involved in this. This is all private finance. The assessment is attached to the property, not the property owner's credit. If somebody does need to sell their property or refi, oftentimes the bank's going to ask you to pay that off. We do tell everybody that up front. It is repaid over a fixed term and a fixed interest rate, so that will not change or fluctuate. The reason why this is helpful is these terms tend to be longer. Like I did my windows and doors, and that was, for me, it was almost $40,000 for my house. But I'm paying that over 25 years at 6% interest, so my payment's about $200 a month. Would you like me to wait?
I don't know who that is. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, they're fixing the AC. The lightning struck and took out our capacitor, so the guys just put a new one on. So soon
Yes.
be
Okay.
cool.
So there is no prepayment penalty if you do decide to pay off. It's just whatever you owe. You don't owe for the entire, all the interest isn't due, nothing like that. It's all very much similar to a mortgage in that respect. And then the uniform method of collection agreement with the tax collector and placement fee structure. So yeah, the tax collector does take a fee, and so does the property appraiser for putting the assessments on the tax roll. So you must be current on your taxes in order to qualify. You must be current on your mortgage. You can't be in active bankruptcy. No active liens in the property. You must have a minimum of 10% equity, and we won't fund anything more than 20% of the fair market value of the property, not to exceed 100%. So we're not going to put somebody underwater. So the benefits, obviously, is as we cover the whole amount up front. There's no credit. It's not a credit-based product, which is very helpful. Financing term up to 30 years with fixed interest rates. And again, so when you get a HELOC, a lot of times those are variable. They'll change with the market. or you'll have some balloon payment due. None of that stuff applies with PACE. It is a fixed term and a fixed interest rate. And it's, the actual rates and term are based on the improvements that we're doing. So if you're doing a hot water heater, that's usually a 10-year term, right? We're not going to do a 25-year term for something that might break in 10 years, right? So AC units are typically 15 to 20 years. Windows and doors are going to be more of a 20 to 25-year product. But you can choose a lower term because that will have a lower interest rate. So you can choose up to a minimum of 5 years, maximum whatever the max financing for that particular product is. So if you're choosing a hot water heater, you can't choose a 20-year term. That's not offered to you because we don't want you making a payment on something that might not be working anymore. So again, it is available to residential and commercial. And the idea is that this might reduce your energy bills, or savings on property insurance. Me personally, my insurance went down $100 a month with my impact windows and doors. So my net payment's $100 a month. I just got an appraisal. My value did go up. I don't know how your experience was, but mine did. And I know that's also the market, but it certainly didn't hurt to have brand new windows and doors in my property. And you can obviously combine that with any type of federal programs that exist out there. Next slide, please. So we do offer lots of consumer protections. You're not going to find any product that offers more consumer protections than ours. What we do is when you sign up, we actually will give you a call, and we go through live on the phone on a recorded line. We go through at each term. This is how much you're going to owe. You understand this is going to be a lien on your property. Just like your mortgage is a lien on your property, just like a HELOC is a lien on your property. This too is you're borrowing money. It's not free money. Okay? So we go through each term with you, and if you still are interested in the program, it still makes sense to you, then we'll go ahead and let you sign your financing agreements and move forward. We'd rather have you say no than move forward with something you don't understand or you don't like. If you have additional questions, we'll take the time. Some of those calls can be anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how many questions you have. And if we get a red flag, we have a super senior, like a senior plus, anybody over 75, we actually do a mandatory second phone call. And then there's a 5-day right of rescission for those folks, just to make sure, in case they want to talk with their advisors or family or whatnot. So again, we don't want somebody in something that doesn't make any sense. It's a lot more painful for everybody involved if we're pushing high tactic sales. It doesn't work in this industry. You have to be completely transparent. You have to take it slow. So again, documents will translate English to Spanish. If you have another preference, we'll work to find you a translator. We have disclosures that are very similar to the mortgage industry's know before you owe disclosures. Again, that confirmation of terms, property owners, that is the most effective tool that we could possibly do. It saves us, everybody, a lot of time and effort by making sure everybody knows what's going on. You do, of course, have the right to cancel. We do identity verification. We do it's called on FIDO. You got to take a picture and with the app, and you have to look at the camera and take with your ID, just to make sure that it's you that's signing up for it. Of course, we make sure the property owner has the ability to repay this as well. So if you go to the next slide, please. So this is where I wanted to make sure that we all understood how this works. We are a financing option. We are a tool, right, to finance these types of improvements. We do not have our own contractors. We do not send out flyers or mailers like you all saw and that we're here to talk about today. We work with contractors that are already working in your area, and we sign up with them, or they sign up with us rather, and they have to agree to our code of conduct, which includes marketing guidelines. Okay? We have to do a training. We got to make sure that they're licensed, bonded, and insured. We run a background check, and you'd be surprised. Sometimes we say no. You've got a criminal history, violent history. We're not going to allow you to represent our type of financing, even though they may have 5 other types of financing they offer. They're not going to offer ours. But those contractors, they will offer different types of financing. We're just one option, or we're a voluntary option. So the other party involved in this transaction here, or not in this transaction, but in this conversation, is the lead generators. The same people that call you up and tell you that your auto's out of warranty, the same people that send you those fake checks in the mail. My kids think I'm rich. They don't know why I keep ripping up all these $75,000 checks. This is the same group of people. They're shameless, and they work with everybody. And what they do is they will tell you anything you want to hear, and they'll sell those leads. They sell those leads. I actually did a similar thing. I had one of these flyers come up, and I had a buddy of mine secret shop them, and they said, yeah, we can do PACE, we'll get you proof of PACE. Contractor showed up, wasn't even authorized to do PACE with us. So again, these folks will tell you anything you want to hear. And what we do about it, we send cease and desist letters. You're not allowed to use logos. We do our best to mitigate this. And oftentimes we told the contractors, no, we're not going to work with you if you're working with these guys. It's really, really challenging for us to track. It's not, we're not in the business of controlling the lead party generators. We are in the business of making sure any contractor that signed up with us, they don't do those types of things. Now, if they're buying leads, it's really hard to manage that. I'll be honest with you, it's a tough one. But we do our best to do that. We've already sent copies of the cease and desist letters to Peggy. She's got them from all of us. We jump right on this. We'll do what we can. But again, it's the same people that give you those phone calls. You got to trace that back. I mean, who's doing that work? I mean, they're not selling pace. They're just lead generators. They're selling leads. So I hope you understand how they're different than we are. And we do our best to mitigate that. If you can go to the next slide, please. So obviously, there's benefits to local governments. We're already signed up through Palm Beach County, so this already exists. So again, I want you to understand. I'm trying to just be here to help you understand, ask questions, make sure you know what we're doing here and what's going on. There's only been a handful of assessments here in Pahokee, but we want to make sure everybody understands what we do. And if they have questions, they know that if you can call us and we'll show up and we'll answer to them. So next slide, please. So here's our contact info. We are the government affairs folks for each of our districts. We can give you our salespeople's numbers too if you have other questions, but just know that we're here as a partner. We want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on and knows who to call if there's something that happens that you're not in favor of. So I hope we can answer your questions for you here and make sure we leave happy here. So my colleagues up too if they want to be here to answer some questions.
Again, thank you for the presentation. At this time, do any commissioner have any question they would like to ask?
I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment. I know, as he stated, I use this program here myself. I have 30 windows in my house with the sliding glass door. They came out. I know it's a very effective company. I think I went through one, Renew Finance. I think it's the one that I used. And matter of fact, today it just got. They're gonna now come in. I just got approved for my whole AC unit to be ripped out and redone. So they're gonna do that. I mean, just as you said, they stay on the phone with you. Even the contractor, once the contractors I know comes out, the salesperson, they're right there with you to make sure they shows their ID, they shows their credentials, and make sure that they are who they say they are. And another thing, you don't have to sign anything until all the work is completed. They do all your permitting, they do everything. I tell you, I give a thumbs up with the program. I did, like I said, my windows came out almost like $50,000. And I did it like over like the 20-year span. And it only went up, works only goes up, a little. Even with the AC, actually the AC unit came out cheaper with them than going out and get a new one. Came out cheaper, and they did like a 10-year for the AC unit.
If I could, that is one important consumer protection I left out. We actually don't pay the contractor until the work is done and the homeowner has signed off on it. Mm-hmm. And then we actually go out and do another inspection just to make sure it was done, take a picture of it, and make sure that it was completed before we fund the contractor. We don't give money to the homeowners. We pay the contractor directly, but only when the work is done, everybody's happy.
So.
Just to introduce myself, and again, if there are any questions, Jennifer Rojas Suarez, and I am with Renew Financial, which Vice Mayor, I'm very happy that you are here to actually say your testimony on using our financing. So that's exactly what we do, and that's exactly the process. So I am here if you have any questions. We also sent out a cease and desist letter as well to the lead generators that my colleagues spoke about. Because they are a problem, but however, just like my colleague said, they are not contractors, they're lead generators. And so whenever you do hear about any complaints regarding these lead generators or marketing, please let us know so that we can take immediate action, because we do not tolerate that kind of marketing. So if you have any questions, again, I'll be here.
Hearing no additional questions, I again thank you all for the presentation. We was very informed of what you do and how you do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now we'll move on with our agenda. We don't have any consent agenda items.
Public comment.
Okay, I'm sorry. At this time, City Clerk, do we have any public comments cards completed.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bobby Colvin. Please state your name and address.
Bobby Colvin, 3096 Bacon Point Road, Pahokee, Florida. On the agenda tonight, there's several resolutions. The first two resolutions deal with buying some equipment. And I'd like to speak to those two resolutions. One thing that the mayor has always emphasized, anytime that somebody's awarded money or anything, he says, remember, try to spend it local. We want our people to buy local. When people come in, they say, hire local. Everything is local. And yet we have thousands of dollars worth of lawn equipment to a company that's at least an hour and a half from here. And I'd just like to, from a personal testimony, over the last 20 years or so, I bought 3 lawnmowers from Everglades Equipment. Been pleased with the service. Matter of fact, there's a guy on either one road or 2 roads from us by the name of Sam that's been to our property twice this year when I called and had a problem with the mower, and they sent him out within a day and picked my mower up and took it back. When you buy from a company that's 2 hours away, you're not going to get that kind of service very quickly. Now, I don't know what kind of warranties are with the company. I do know the mower I have now I bought a little over 2 years ago, and I looked at some other places, and I went to them locally here and told them what I could get it for. They beat the price, and where I was thinking about buying it, it came with a 2-year warranty. They made it a 3-year warranty and added an extra $100 to the warranty at no extra charge. I am just wondering why we are going so far away, because service with lawn equipment, I mean, the service is actually more important than the price that you buy it, because you're going to have to do repairs on it, and after a year or two, the repairs come more often. And so I just want to speak to that issue. And even with our banking, we've talked about going out elsewhere for banking sometimes. I love dealing with a local bank. I had surgery on my eye last month and had to put extra money in the bank to take care of it. And it was so nice to be able to just go to the local bank instead of having to drive to a branch in Okeechobee or West Palm. I believe in spending my money local if I can, and I would encourage this commission to look again at this purchase and purchase it locally, because I can tell you there's a lot of people that work at Everglades Equipment that live in Belglade, Pahokee, or Canal Point, and literally we're supporting ourselves when we buy local. Why go an hour and a half or 2 hours away? Maybe it's a little bit cheaper, I don't know, but I just encourage you, don't go through with this. Thank you.
Any additional comments, card, City Clerk?
Yes, sir, Ms. Tan Allen.
Good evening. I have a couple things I want to speak about. First being the scoreboard on the football field. I drove by one day and I saw an electrical company fixing on it, and I'm sure it's been out of commission for a very long time, that it's going to take some extensive work. Can you please give us an update, because we had a game last week and I don't think it was used. Secondly, and before I begin, I'm not against Mr. Lucas. I'm just for fair process. Prior to the last year we had, the city of Pahokee was going through a process in which we utilized the services of the Florida League of Cities. Mr. Lucas was selected as the interim city manager, and there was still continued process, which permanent position was coming about, and he was going to be one of, I believe, 5 that was to be interviewed for that position. I'm saying before we consider hiring him as a permanent city manager, that we at least consider going through that process, and if he interviews and is selected, then the people can't complain. We went through the process, we did what was needed to be done, and we followed the protocol. I mean, last year, we fussed and fought about the way Mr. Thompson was hired. And if I'm gonna speak against that, I'm gonna speak, against this. Regardless of what you decide to do tonight, I would suggest that, I would hope we would continue that process. Even if everybody may have found a job, he may be the last one standing, then we select him. Lastly, I like Ms. Lynn, our current interim finance / human resource lady. I don't know what her future is within the city of Pahokee, but I would wish, and I hope I speak for others, I may not, but I hope I would, that she is also given the opportunity to apply for at least one of the positions. I don't know if you're going to combine it, but at least one of the positions, because to stand here with knowledge and know your job and not be afraid to hold someone accountable, that takes courage. So she's transparent. We don't need no one's yes, ma'am. We need someone who's going to hold us accountable and to keep the city of Pahokee out of litigations and whatever else may be. So that's my time.
Thank you. Any additional comments, cards?
Yes, sir. Miss Regina Bowling.
Regina Bolin, 366 South Barfield Highway. I'm here tonight to talk about Resolution 2022, 29, and 30. I saw the full package of the cost for these mowers and for the gators. And a friend of mine sent that to Everglades Equipment because, as Mr. Colvin said, I believe we should buy local. For the one that was $34,226.52, Everglades Equipment will do it for $33,517.82 for a savings of $710.70. And for the one $60,652.92, they would do it for $58,923.76, which is a savings of $1,729.16, for a total savings of $2,439.86. That may not seem like a lot. It doesn't really matter to a lot of people. But if you take the 92,000 on the low side, 94,000 on the high side that you're going to spend, and you use the economic multiplier for this area, which is around 9, you're looking at $828,000 of economic impact to this community. That's a lot of money. That matters. I'm like Mr. Colvin. I'll drive my car to empty to get it back here to buy gas, because I believe that little bit of gas that I buy, although it's not cheap anymore, it's a lot of money, impacts somebody's job here. And I know a lot of people, like Mr. Colvin said, that live in Pahokee and work at Everglades Equipment. I imagine when we need something, we go down to Everglades and ask for it. And I'm pretty sure they help us out every time. So when it comes time to buy something and we don't go and get it local, that's embarrassing. That's horrible. And I'm embarrassed for us as a city to even consider not going to a local business to get something when they're all going to the same place to get it in the end. And that's North Carolina. So if you would like copies of those, I'd be happy to send them to you. And I just have one other thing that I want to talk about, and that's the hiring of Mr. Lucas. And again, I can't even believe I'm saying this. This is the first time I think ever, Tan, I agree with you. But I believe after all of the grief that was given last year about how Mr. Thompson was hired, for y'all to do this tonight, it's pretty much the same thing, except you're inside and we were outside. But other than that, it's the same process. Thank you.
Any additional comments?
Mr. James Scott.
James Scott, 3044 Eldorado Drive, Pahokee. I guess you kind of stole my thunder.
Oh, sorry.
But I agree. And it's not nothing personal against Mr. Lucas. Like I said, I don't know you, so it's not personal. But I have to agree with him. Hiring you right now don't seem like a good idea. And it's your hiring process that I don't like. And the way that they're going about hiring you is the same way I felt about them hiring Mr. Thompson. We just doing stuff because we can. But we're not considering the community or what they think. And that's, you know, you guys done it one time already. You hired Mr. Adams. And she didn't go through an interview, she didn't do an application. And you gave her a raise. And now you finna turn around and do the same thing with Mr. Lucas. And it's not nothing against him. I'm not saying he ain't, I mean, can he do the job? I don't know. But can anyone else in Pahokee do the job? You don't know. And you're not even trying to find out. You're just doing whatever you want to do. You know, just because we voted you in, well, we watching, so we gonna vote you out. Trust me. Because the thing about it, look at Mr. Lucas. And I don't know I don't know her, but we went 5 counties away to a temp service to hire somebody. I worked for the county for 36 years. We use temp service every day, right there in Palm Beach County. But no, now we going 2 hours away to buy a lawnmower. I bought all my lawnmowers from John Deere right there in Wichita. For the same service that he said, that's what they do to me. They drop it off to the house. If I have a problem with it, if I can't haul it down there, they come pick it up. We got to consider, stop just doing stuff because we can. And if you guys like Mr. Lucas as a person, that's okay too. That just give him a leg up on the next person that apply for the job. But at least allow people to apply for the job. Doing it one time, you already done that. You're doing it with Ms. Adams. And nobody's not gonna forget that. But now you're gonna do it again. So, you know, let's think about what we're doing. All the people that Mr. Lucas hired, they don't live in Pahokee. Not from Pahokee, they don't live in Pahokee, they're not spending a dime in Pahokee. So y'all got to think about that. Mr. Lucas don't live in Pahokee. I live in Pahokee. I spend my money in Pahokee. I raise my kids in Pahokee. But you guys are just, oh, well, just because they come from out of town, we decide that we can hire them. Oh, they know everything. They don't know no more than me and no one else here. And if they do a good job, that's okay. I can stand up here and say, I love Pahokee too. You pay me $100,000, I'll tell you how much I love you. But that's all I have to say. And I appreciate y'all standing up here and letting them know. All right.
In addition, comments?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's make sure everyone had an opportunity to speak. Just a point of information, the timer there, is it working? Or I know last commission meeting wasn't in.
It's not working.
It's not working. Maybe, Mr. Lucas, if you can look at that, or somebody can see if we can get that taken care of. And the clock on the wall, I also noticed at least 2, 3 commission meetings, we don't have a clock. If y'all see that little panel around there, I got a clock, a pretty nice big one, just look just like that panel. I'm gonna go ahead and donate it. I'm gonna bring it up here tomorrow so we can use that or have that. But I was just wondering, I'd like to keep an eye on the time. Okay, we don't have any consent agenda items on the agenda tonight. No old business. Well, I take that back. We got discussion of existing activities for our previously held event, if any. And old business. And I don't think we have a representative of the Centennial Committee wanted to give a report on our last event, but if we don't have anything, we'll move on. Ms. Washington.
Good evening, everyone. The last event that we had was the Back to School Bash, which took place this past Saturday. We competed against a lot of activity in the city and the Glades at large, and I believe we did very well. We had a decent turnout. The residents were excited. We had quite a few raffles that were donated by several sponsors. Far too many to name right now. However, you're more than welcome to reach out and I will share them with you. We also have them listed on our publications as well, and we'll be listing several of them on our website throughout the year. Again, the event was very well attended. We had lots and lots and lots of book bags and free activities for the residents to enjoy. Our next set of events, we have a small business event that is taking place at the end of this month. The date is to be determined. You'll have that at the end of this week, and you'll see a flyer up on the city's webpage. So I implore you to log on to the city's website, and you'll see the flyer for that, as well as the city's social media page. In September, we have the Storm of 1928 Remembrance event, and that will be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Port Mayaca Cemetery. And then in October, we have our Fall Festival. So I'm just calling out just a few so everyone can keep their eye out for these events. And again, you can log on to the city's website for updates in addition to our social media pages. So thanks again, and I hope to see everyone out.
Okay.
Sir?
It's not so much an event, but it is an activity, the ARPA committee.
Yes.
What's the status of that, if you could just briefly give us an update?
So with the ARPA committee, we have been speaking to the members to get a consensus of when will it be a good time for the next meeting, in addition to finalizing whether we will meet on a continuous basis or have this last meeting be the meeting that everyone just makes their presentation or their pitch to us so that we are able to present it to our mayor and commission. So that date will be finalized, I'd say, by midday tomorrow. So everyone in the ARPA committee should get an email. Yes?
Okay.
Thank you. Have the week. Good evening.
Okay, we have non-public hearings. We do have several resolutions. First resolution is Resolution 2022-29. City Attorney, could you read that in the records?
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the purchase of 3 John Deere Z960M Z-Track mowers in the amount of $34,226.53 from Green Thumb Lawn and Garden LLC, piggybacking the State of Florida contract number 2510-1900-21-STC, Agriculture and Lawn Equipment Contract, providing for an allocation of funds, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. City Attorney. City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation of Resolution 2022-29 and also include, because I'm hearing some concern, why did we go outside of the local area? I think I know some of those answers, but just share some of that with the public in your explanation.
Thank you, sir. Well, with this, we decided to we were directed by a couple of agencies in other cities to always refer to the state contracting list, and that's usually your lowest price point. And that's what we did, and we found the items that we were shopping for at a substantial discount. And that's how we came about to this and to present it today.
So for total clarification and transparency, you went to the local John Deere and you got a quote on these items, and then you further that by seeking out other quotes that will be more reasonable or more cost effective. I'm trying to get a clear picture.
So we initially always go up to Everglades. We have our equipment service there, and we did receive a quote from them. And in reviewing it, I had staff look at the list, and we've been in contact with Everglades. So the price that we received, them being this being a company that is on and included in the state listing, is what we found. We didn't counter and go back and ask Everglades to match it. It's just we pulled it off a list because they had on their price point been the lowest. And that's also attached on page 26 that outlines all those things. So we're looking for approval of resolution 2022-29, an amount of $34,226.53. And that's for 3 John Deere Z96M Z-Track mowers.
What page is the quote from? You said the quote from Everglades is on what page?
From page 23 through 27.
Okay, and we'll come back to questions too if we need to, but at this time, I'll entertain any motion to accept or reject.
This is for the ask questions.
After we get a motion in a
And then
second,
you ask
then
questions.
it'll be open for questions.
What resolution is it?
29.
29. May I make a motion that we would accept resolution 2022-29 for questioning?
Second. It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez for the adoption for further questioning resolution 2022-29. Call for questions.
Okay, I'm trying to see what was the purchase of the lawnmower. I see here where one term will cost $11,484. That's from, is that from Green Thumb or that's John Deere? That's Green Thumb.
Yes, and they are a John Deere registered distributor.
Okay, now the price, then what is the price for the John Deere same mower?
Well, it shows that the price point is $11,408.84.
Okay.
And then there's 3. So basically, with the addition of a few other things on here, like a canopy, fans, that's a 60-inch deck. It ended up being $12,879 times 3.
Okay, but what is the price from Everglades Prep for the same, not Prep, sorry, Everglades, you know what I'm saying, John Deere. I'll just call him John. What is that?
If I may I bring up staff, and they're the ones that...
Yeah, but I'm trying to see the difference in the price.
Good evening, Commissioner, Mayor, Vice Mayor. The quote from Everglades for the lawnmowers was $38,169.74 cents.
So, a little $4,000 difference.
Yes. And for the next one, I have the quote.
Any additional questions pertaining to this item, the resolution?
Right. This is the same green thumb that's on West Palm, or do you just call it corporate office?
You get it off a listing. It's the state contracting listing, correct, Carlos?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know this company here, and this company, I guess, their concern is that it's almost 2 hours away. That's because it's in Coral Springs, but Green Thumb is actually on Southern Boulevard.
Correct. There's a Green Thumb on Southern Boulevard.
Right.
The corporate address, though, is Coral Springs.
Correct. That's why I just want to clear that up for people.
Right. So they're actually on, like you said, they're on Southern and I can't remember the cross street.
Truck and Trailer USA.
Yeah, Truck and Trailer Road, exactly.
Boulevard, yeah.
So anyway, but they're a Deere and Company distributor. We gave everybody an opportunity to quote, and they came in with that quote.
Did you all represent the quote back to John Deere, the local John Deere?
We
to see
did
if they
not.
can get a better deal?
We did not, because normally we want the vendors to give us the best possible quote at the first, because if I show them the other quote now, okay, now they're gonna match it after, after we did the procurement. I mean, they weren't the only one that quoted. I have other quotes also.
So the difference what's the difference between the first quote you got from John Deere and Green Thumb? What was the difference?
Everglades came in at $38,000 for the mowers.
Okay.
$38,000. The exact quote is $38,169.74.
And what was Green Thumb?
34.
34.
So a difference of
Almost
$4,000.
$4,000.
So I'm just saying, because I kind of agree with them about dealing locally.
You have a different quote?
We did.
No. Because there's,
Unfortunately, purchasing policies, when you do bidding, you do it as a sealed bid. You give organizations an opportunity to submit a bid based on the equipment you're asking. We asked for John Deere, we asked for, I believe it was Kohler from Green Thumb as well. We asked for Aaron's, which was a different brand. So we asked for 3 different brands of mowers, all with the same size, same horsepower, everything like that. Asked for 3 different quotes, different brands of mowers, all given the same opportunity
She
to
need to
bid
come to the mic.
equal.
She should come to the
You
mic.
do not go back and give them the opportunity to rebid when you're bidding. To give someone the opportunity, once you have opened the bids, to rebid is giving them an unfair advantage.
You can't do that.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that that was a bid,
Yes, when you ask for a bid, ask for a quote
Yes.
on merchandise, when you're going out for at least 3 bids on a product, anything over $700, we ask for 3 bids, 3 quotes on a product. And you do not tell the other bidders what the other people are giving you price-wise.
But are we talking about a bid or a quote? Because that's two different things.
No, it's a bid on the service or the product.
But is it a bid or a quote? Are you asking for a quote or are you asking for a bid? It's two different things.
In this case, it is a bid. We are asking them to bid, give us a bid quote for the price of 3 mowers. Individual unit prices, total of 3 mowers. And what is their best pricing? They send it to us, not knowing what anybody else is bidding, to then provide the price that someone else has given us to one of the other bidders that has already submitted a price, and ask them if they can beat that price, gives that person an unfair advantage.
It does.
I mean, are we looking out after the businesses or are we looking after ourselves?
We're looking out for ourselves. Now, if you want to implement a policy that provides local businesses with bidding preference, which provides them with the opportunity to have a higher cost on their bid based on locality, the commission can adopt a policy like that.
It doesn't have to work that way. It could be on a scoring system. And you get points if you're local.
But again,
not
that
that
is
you're
a
giving
bidding-
a priority even if the high price is high.
That is
Okay, I have a
bidding
question.
preference.
I have a question, attorney.
Yes, I agree with that one.
What does it say that how we have to do this?
Well, that's the usual process. I'm not really familiar with cities going back and forth as far as bidding with between 2 different or multiple companies. It's usually what the company provides. That's what you have to go with.
So would we be in violation if we were to call another company and get them compare prices and to ask them if they can beat the price?
If it was a bid that went out, yes.
You can't do that.
If it's a bid that went out, it depends how it was done. If
We
it's
can't do
a
that.
quote,
Let's keep in mind, I mean, I certainly recommend and encourage local purchase or local anything as much as possible, but when the price is so wide a gap, you got to take that in consideration. No one is going to pay $4,000 more for equipment because we can get it in Belgrade versus in Palm Beach. That don't make good business sense. In addition to that, I don't want to put this out there, but I have to sort of share this with you. We got individuals here in Pahokee who has some relationship with that dealership that cause prices sometimes to go up, that make it difficult for Pahokee to get a fair share or fair cost or fair price for products. And this is a local person here. I'm not going to put anybody's name out, but we got to factor that in also. Everybody don't want this city to succeed. I'm not saying that you don't support local. I certainly do. But this is a $4,000 difference between these lawnmowers versus what we was able to get in Palm Beach.
Mayor Bab, we have to realize this is a municipality, and you have to go by your procurement purchasing that's on your books. If you don't, you might as well close down your doors because you're not following your law. Again, in your procurement, you cannot, once you put out a bid and they come in with a view, they cannot tell you what I bid after the stuff is open, and then I go back and say, oh, well, I'll give you $5,000 difference. You cannot do that. Just because Mrs. Bolden went down to John Deere and they gave her a cheaper price than they gave the city, that does not make it right that John Deere giving us a deal, because they could have gave it to us from the, they could give us those prices from the beginning. From the beginning, they gave us a $4,000 more price than what the other company did. I'm all for local, but no one in here just can sit in here and say everything they buy is all from just Pahokee. No, here just say that. Nobody can. So yes, do you shop local? Yes. Does it affect people on the jobs if you don't? Yes. But no one can follow that. And it says that you go by the lowest cost. This is the lowest cost.
Okay.
And not to cut you off, and let's not also forget that they don't want to address the monkey in the room from before, when we did go down to John Deere to get all of these equipments. All of this equipment. It's an issue came up when the same certain person went down to John Deere and told him not to give the city anything. So all of that stuff has to be, hold on, Mr. Commissioner. And let me just finish, Mr. Commissioner.
Commissioner Perez,
Let me
allow
ask
her to
you.
finish her thought and comment.
One thing.
You continue to interrupt.
One thing that I want to ask you.
You out of
I'm a
order.
business owner, okay? You come to me and you want to buy 10 houses, and you think because Regina comes to tell me, don't sell her the houses, do you think I'm going to listen to her? I want my sale.
Well, I don't know.
So
I don't know.
that
I didn't say
doesn't make
Regina said that. That's not what I said. I didn't say you said that. That's not what I said.
Commissioner.
But anyway,
Well, anybody.
okay, that is what happened. They went down there and they told John Deere not to sell to City of Pahokee. That's
Can quote that like
So-
I
Commissioner.
told this roofing, that roofing, that
Commissioner.
roofing, that roofing, and whoever gives me the best price, that's who I go with. That's a quote. A bid is when I put it out. I'm seeking somebody to do 10 units, whatever. A quote is a quote, a bid is a bid. I don't care how you want to quote it. A bid is a bid and a quote is a quote. So
Okay,
which one
so-
is it, a bid or a quote?
So, in the resolution, I'll restate it. It's piggybacking on a state contract.
Yes.
So right there,
That's
we're
the
looking for
thing.
the same thing that a prior agency got the deal.
They're the ones that went out.
That's
with the
what we
bid.
did here. So
Yeah.
it eliminated this bid process.
That's what I
We
read.
we went to the sheet, we looked down a list, and we said for the equipment we want, oh, here's this item. It's gonna be the same way for the next one.
Right, so it wasn't a bid or it wasn't a quote. You're going through the state, which already got put out the bid, which already, so you're just about piggybacking from
Right.
there.
That's
You're
what it
buying
says,
it
piggyback.
as you are part of the
We
state.
don't move forward. In additional question from the commission. Hearing none, you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we move to resolution 2022-30. City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the purchase of 4 John Deere Gator XUV 825 S4 utility vehicles in the amount of $60,652.92 from Green Thumb Lawn and Garden LLC, piggybacking the State of Florida contract number 2510190-21-STC, agriculture and lawn equipment contract, providing for an allocation of funds, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation of this resolution?
Yes, we did shop locally, and then we were advised by other municipalities to refer to the state contracting list to get the lowest opportunity bid by piggybacking, and that's what we did here. For 4 John Deere Gators, for a total amount of $60,652.92, sir.
Okay. I'm just for clarification, because you put that out there loosely when you say we was referred by other municipalities. Did you contact them and say, look, I'm looking to purchase a John Deere mower, what's your opinion or your advice? How did they reach out to you to give you that
So,
advice?
as we've looked at equipment such as vehicles, whatnot, I've asked the Sheriff's Department, I've asked the repair facility for Palm Beach County, and then a couple of city municipalities for their opinion on how best to get the best price, and they all suggested the same process. Thus, I went to that process.
City Commission, having heard resolution 2022-30, properly read into the minutes by our city attorney, properly explained by city manager. What's your pleasure?
Mayor Bab, I move to accept resolution 2022-30.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly seconded by Vice Mayor Mervin for the adoption of Resolution 2022-30. Call for questions.
Do we have the difference in the price with them also?
Yes, ma'am. Everglades quoted $68,624.56.
So there's like an $8,000 difference.
Correct.
My question, we're purchasing two. These
Four.
are four, I'm
Four.
sorry, four. These are expensive vehicles, and I know I saw the rationale or the reason in the quote or in the explanation to the commission, but why do we need four at this time? And I know some of these things, when we do parades and other little things, I know when we have events, they help carry folks from the down to the hilltop. But give me a good explanation why we're purchasing four at this time. Did we get just such a great price that we just couldn't turn it down? I don't know.
No, it's. I believe it's two of them are going to Public Works. One's going to Parks and Rec, and we're considering using the other one for the cemetery.
I have an additional question.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes. As far as this deal goes, what would be the warranty for these vehicles in terms of the services and repairs? What time?
Their manufacturer warranty and the Everglades or any John Deere location will service them. If we need extended warranties, then we would have to request quotes on that.
So how many years do we have now as is?
What's the
I believe it's honestly, if I tell you right now, I would be guessing. I did not question that, and I can get back to you and let you know about that.
Okay.
What was the question?
The issue that I have, these gators, are they gonna have an assigned driver or user? Because usually what happens, you keep them, let's say, Public Works, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry there drives it. Then they wreck them, they do this, they do that, and nobody knows who did it, or they don't report it. Are we gonna be, these are very expensive vehicles. They're gonna be brand new. You know, I wanna make sure that the care and maintenance, that we're not negligent about it, like we have been in the past.
I would say this, I think assigning these vehicles to one individual driver or worker is inappropriate and it shouldn't work. But what you can do is have the supervisor inspect that vehicle, you know, at check-in and check-out, so that if any damages, these persons are...
And sign it out, whoever's taking it, sign it out and inspect it.
In construction, we have our gators, and whoever's on the gator has to put in their name, employee number, and the time they check, you know, they got on it. And when they get off, they put out the check-off time.
We're considering.
So in essence, they will be logging in.
Yes,
when
correct.
they get the keys.
We will.
And that would include a pre and post inspection by a supervisor.
Yes.
That's what I was gonna say. We're developing a form that's gonna show everything on the vehicle, and there'll be a pre-trip and a post-trip on every vehicle.
Okay.
In addition to a vote, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Well, they never did answer. Why we need four at this time?
He did.
Yeah,
He did.
He did? Why?
He said 2 for Public Works, 1 for the, I guess stays at the city, no, it's cemetery, and 2 for Parks and Rec.
Right.
Parks and Rec Cemetery, and 2 for the C Rex.
Okay, any additional questions?
And those keys will be behind two locked doors, the door to the building and another lock on the inside?
I don't know about that.
I mean,
These are
I
really
agree
key.
with him. I
These
mean,
are
we
really
gotta
keys in
have
place.
accountability and responsibility.
Right.
This is the taxpayers' money.
Will have their keys in
And
the
that's
key
good.
box, and they will be issued out of there.
Yeah.
Roll.
She's pregnant.
We're not delaying, our clerk is,
So how's everybody doing?
we'll be back shortly.
So the gas, diesel.
Oh, can I ask the city manager a question? Mr. Lucas, these tractors, are they brand new? Not the, I know this one says 2023, but the lawnmowers, are they brand new?
Brand new, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Are they gonna have the all-terrain wheels, tires on it, or the air tires?
Now, we changed up, so that was.
Oh, that's included?
Yeah, and the question is that diesel or is that just gas for these vehicles?
I believe they're gas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's our clerk? Wasn't it
Bolden.
getting Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioners,
Oh.
motion passed by unanimous
Can I
vote.
ask another question? Because I wasn't here at the beginning of the.
Commission, City Manager of the City of Pahokee, Florida.
This is kind of self-explanatory. Since Mr. Lucas is involved in this, I'm not even going to ask him to give an explanation on this resolution.
Ask questions on the
Somebody
contract?
need to make a motion. If not, we're going to die for lack of a motion in a second. But this is put it out for discussion.
Okay, I make a motion that,
Majority of those who spoke on this particular resolution, not that it's against Mr. Lucas or even for Mr. Lucas, it's the due process we put in place. We have all that a person from Pahokee should have a particular position or job, but have the opportunity to, one, apply for it, two, if they're qualified and eligible to be considered for an interview for it. So what we're doing now is just disregarding our own practice and policy that we desire to have in place. And this happened similar with our previous city manager. Without any interview or any process, we hired this individual or that individual. And that's just not fair. We need to look at what we're doing. We don't need to be in a rush to do this. If Mr. Lucas is best qualified and the best applicant, once we go through the interview process, he should and deserve the job. If not, whoever is the best applicant should get it. And if you ask anyone doing a good job, if you ask anybody why they're against him, what I haven't saw enough that can warrant just immediately hiring him at this point. So I think we need to put it out in bid. We need to put opinion on that, and then have created the problem we had the last time over a year ago, rushing without any due process to hire someone, and they're doing it the same again. So we have to take that in consideration, I think. At least I take it in consideration. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got something to say.
Commissioner Terrell.
First of all, the first time that we ever did what we did was when we suggested it and we started it, that we hire the retired managers or whatever we call. We went through the process, we got all the applications, we interviewed
You didn't.
Mr. Lucas. Yes, we did. We interviewed the two persons that was suggested by
League of Cities.
the executive. He told us those were the two best candidates, but if we wanted to, we could add names to it. We did the two people, and we picked Mr. Lucas.
Let me speak on that just briefly. There was two candidates, Mr. Lucas and another gentleman from out of state. We didn't interview. You may have had an opportunity to ask a few questions. They did a presentation. That's all. That wasn't a.
I remember talking to Mr. Lucas in the chambers.
What we decided.
In the.
What we decided was, after we chose our interim, that we would now go and seek a more permanent city manager. We was going through a process. There was a total of about 32 applicants that had submitted their application. And the majority at that time on this commission decided they would forego that process. Mr. Klein, we had brought him in twice. And both times, that majority of the commission decided we're not gonna do this process. We're gonna choose who we want, when we want, and how we want to do it. And that's what happened.
That's not true. That's not true. The second time, the man was gonna go on vacation, and it was gonna be, we weren't gonna have a city manager until around December. We could not be without a city manager for that amount of time.
You had an interim city manager at the time, it was Mr. Lucas.
That's right.
So you could have used, you can have an interim for a year, 6 months or a year.
We didn't need an interim. We needed a city manager. We needed our own city manager, which I don't see what the problem is, because y'all were in bed with Mr. Lucas, and now all of a sudden, nobody, okay, it's not like he's new and we don't know him. Mr. Lucas has an application. Mr. Lucas, I don't know if you didn't interview him, but we all were called into the chambers over there by
Mr. Klein. Darren Klein.
Yeah, and we met with him, we interviewed him, we all had an hour.
So
I don't know if you didn't go, but we all did.
32 applicants that now have application. I'm not saying they're gonna want to reapply or even want
It doesn't matter what happened to them. We made our choice. It's up to us to make the choice.
Those are bad choices. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, if you think it was a bad choice.
Very bad choices.
Okay, you think it was a bad choice. We made the choice that we made what needed to be made.
Mayor, you yourself agreed to hire Mr. Lucas.
I'm not, you all are missing the vote really bad. I'm not faulting hiring Mr. Lucas. I'm faulting now the process, or we're going back to what we're doing. I didn't agree with you all terminating him. I wanted our process to go through to have competitive interviews so we can select the best city manager possible. So I'm not against Mr. Lucas. I don't think anybody who spoke against him. They just want the process to be carried out. And if you all think he's the best, what you think the outcome gonna be? The most recent city manager was hired in the local area is Miss Dr. Reese. You think Belgrade, even if they wanted him, even if they knew that's what their choice, you think they weren't gonna go through a process of interviewing? You think they were just gonna come out of their pockets and say, you know what, I choose this individual and forgo all of the due process? All I'm saying, let's get it right.
You never had that process. That process only happened last year because we implemented it.
Okay.
You never had that process. We made a bad choice because we hired Mr. Thompson. You made a bad choice when you hired Mr. Williams. So what is the problem? If we hire them, if they work, we keep them. If they don't, we fire them. What is the problem?
Mr. Williams went through a process. He even went.
Yeah, and he lied through the process, and then he went through y'all's head.
The community being involved in going through applications.
Mayor, the truth of the matter is that you're being pressured, okay? You're being pressured by the group that doesn't want Mr. Lucas. And they were your supporters. They're the reasons why you got elected, and now you're backtracking. Let's move. Let's vote. We have a motion. Anybody else have any questions?
Mayor, I have something to say. We started the process with Mr. Kleiman, all that, we don't have to keep saying that. But we have to look at this as a municipality. We have to look at this as, right now, we're unstable. You had residents to get in the town hall, say we need some stability. We don't have no stability. We don't have a regular city manager. And not just that, if you got to go outside the box, when you have investors looking into your city, trying to want to make a business deal in your city, the first thing they say is, well, you know what? I'm not going to go there yet until they get together and get stable. We have to have some stability in our community. Wherefore, if he's going to be the one, he's going to be the one. One thing, as she said, as they did in the past, if he's not, we know what to do. This contract has nowhere in here where it's in a concrete where he cannot be fired. He can be fired with or without cause at any given day as any other city manager that sat in that chair. But we have to come together as a city. We're going to move forward. We say we're going to move forward. We here discussing within almost a year, not a year, almost 2 years now, we have not had a real stable city manager. Almost 2 years. And we're wondering why we cannot hardly even get our contractors back on the phone to come back into the city to get business and projects started. Because let me just finish, Mayor. So I'm with everything by doing the process. I wish the process would have played out as we started it play out. But let's move our city forward. If Mr. Lucas we feel that he's doing the job right now, and no one here can say he's not, as far as the commission can say he's not doing the job.
I mean, you're speaking for everybody.
No,
I say nobody for the commission. You haven't seen what the commission point of view is.
Well, Mayor, let me say this: from the emails that we get, from the projects that we see that back online, from the stuff that we're looking at. I can speak. I hope we all read our email. We all see our picture. We all see our updates. That we can see the stuff that is going on. The stuff is going forward. So we need to make some decision. Every decision we make, everybody's not going to be happy with us. I don't care if we do it today, we do it tomorrow, we do it next year. It's going to be the same thing.
This question then: are you saying we should forego interviewing and allowing anyone the opportunity to even apply for the job?
Well, Mayor, it's been open, right? Okay, let me go back to one thing Commissioner Perez said. It was 5 beside Mr. Lucas, there was 4 other people that was on that interview list. 4.
It was 32 on the original list.
It was 32 on the original list, but when we were going through the process, who we trusted, Mr. Kleiman, and to go through the list, he narrowed it down to 5.
Okay.
Out of the 5 that was on that list, none of them was from the city of Pahokee.
It doesn't matter.
I'm going by what you're saying. Wait a minute, Mayor. I'm just going by what you're saying. It's not whether you're from Pahokee, Belgrade, Wachahula, wherever you are. But if you're the person for the job to come and do the job and do what is right for the city of Pahokee, let's move the city forward. How long we gonna prolong this? If Mr. Lucas get in there and mess up and do stuff outside, that's why the statement in there, with or without cause. We're his bosses. We go in there and tell him, okay, Mr. Lucas, this is what we put forward. We need to see this put forward. Whomever it be. It could be somebody from the city of Pahokee sit right there today. The same process would be done, the same process.
All I'm asking for, as a mayor, is a fair process, that anyone who feel they're qualified.
I don't think it's
can
fair.
have an
The part that I don't think is fair is, yes, we did, and it might be a shame. We did go out and ask Mr. Lucas, not just us, cries in the community. Hey, we need to bring Mr. Lucas back. Let me just say this.
It was for an interim. It's not wasn't for permanent. You got to.
We know it was interim, man. We know that.
Someone, you have to put someone.
Man, we know it was interim. He's still sitting here as interim. We know it was an interim. We know that. We know that.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm done with it. We're making ourselves look bad when you already have an idea or you want to hire this individual. You're gonna say, you know what?
I think we look bad right now for our investors. Period. Right now, because we're not stable. And doing it, we're not sitting stable.
We're looking bad. That's my point. Any other comments?
I'll make a comment briefly. I'll say this. It is not the same thing as it was with Mr. Thompson. This commission voted on some minimal qualifications that he himself did not meet. Neither did he submit an application, a resume, or anything. We didn't have a background check, drug test, no nothing for Mr. Thompson. So for anyone to compare this situation to Thompson's, I actually think it's really ludicrous to do that.
I think
Mr. Lucas was a part of Mr. Kleiman's process. I get all of that. Out of that process, we got Mr. Lucas. He didn't, I feel like personally, he didn't get an opportunity to show us what he could really do the first time around, which is why, from my understanding, he's back with us. I think in good faith towards Mr. Lucas, who's also had to make some sacrifices of his own to even be here, and he wants to be here. Now, I will say this. Out of the many people that did apply for this position through Mr. Kleiman's process, one of the things that we have to understand is this. I'm not saying that, and please hear me clearly, I'm not saying that Mr. Lucas was better than everybody. Because there were people in that thing, they were so good we couldn't afford them. Neither could we afford their relocation package. All right, so we did lose a lot of people who we may have felt were better than Mr. Lucas, but we could not afford them either. So, in good faith towards Mr. Lucas, who's made sacrifices to be here, he wants to be here. The salary that we're paying him is something that he accepts. I think that we should go ahead and move forward and have Mr. Lucas as our permanent city manager to move Pahokee forward. Those are my comments.
I'll say this, and I'm going to conclude my comments. Early on, when Mr. Lucas first came back in the interim, before we even evaluated him, Mr. Boland, you say that we should go ahead and name him, take that interim off, and just name him a city manager. And I'm going to say this lastly, I think anyone who forego the process and don't see the comparison of the hiring of Mr. Thompson versus him. I'm not saying there was total similarities, but there was some similarities. There wasn't a process done, and I don't think with Mr. Lucas we're doing that process. So I think those who vote and support that is ludicrous.
The process has already been done, and a permanent manager has not been hired. So therefore, we want to move and get a permanent city manager. He's been interim before, he's interim now. It is our will to make him permanent.
Okay. Any additional questions?
All I have to say is the community, when I'm out there, and a lot of people know I'm hitting the streets asking questions or reference about the city manager, they also feel Mr. Lucas is doing a good job for our city, and they support him. So I do speak for them.
I don't know who you're speaking for.
The people in the community.
Okay. Hearing no additional question, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Mayor Babb?
No. Motion passed by majority, 41 vote. Now we move to the fourth and final resolution, Resolution 2022-32.
A resolution of the city.
I'm sorry.
Wait.
I just need just one clarification. Does that resolution include approval of the actual contract that was presented. That was included in the
Yeah, that's what you
resolution.
just voted on.
Okay. Now we move
Well,
to.
wait, because there was questions that I wanted to go over in the contract, but we didn't discuss the contract.
Yes, we did. That's what it was.
No, the hiring, but we didn't go through the contract.
It was based on the same contract.
It was the same thing. You should have supposed to ask the questions then.
I think it should have been separate, but it is what it is at this point. We'll
But
move
it's
to
not too late.
resolution
I was getting close.
2022-32.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida
You
for
always get
approval
clarity
of
on
change
that.
order number 5
always get
to
clarity.
resolution number 2021-02 pertaining to the Barfield Highway Reconstruction Project as set forth in Exhibit A, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Madam.
Look for number 48.
City Attorney. City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation of resolution 2022-32?
Yes, sir. This is a change order for Barfield Highway for Russell Construction Company. This is a exploratory potholing for AT&T conflict. This includes surveying, restaking the structures. The exploratory potholing is between 4th and East Main for AT&T for drain purposes. And that amount is $18,245.03. This work has not been done.
We had to put a motion before I could ask questions.
Yes.
Warner,
I make a motion, Mayor, you will accept resolution 2022-32.
I second it.
It is moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Perez for the acceptance of resolution 2022-32. Call for questions.
Yeah, I understand that this is at no cost to us, right? This is gonna be
Yes,
paid
ma'am.
by DOT.
Correct.
I only have a question on the entitlement analysis. It says this change order does not address remedial measures proposed by the final RFP response. As solution, the EOR said to change 5 inlet tops to type 9 to allow for the box structures to be moved away from the utility. Does this mean that we're gonna get a work order from the contractor for this, to changing these 5 inlet tops to type 9, whatever that is?
Well, this is a utility problem that they would have to move to get to lay in the street. So it's that. Now, this is basically AT&T doing something on behalf of the contractor so they can allow them to finish the work.
Because if you notice, if you go down Barfield, you know there's a big AT&T pole too sitting right there in the middle. Sitting right there in the middle, big AT&T pole.
Okay, so if they're gonna move it, it belongs to AT&T, right? And AT&T is asked to move because we're having reconstruction. So to put it back, the contractor has to pay to get the work, to have this done, to change the boxes?
Yeah.
The contractor has to pay for that?
This requires that the contractor go back and excavate. So that means they gotta move out some dirt product in order to provide for this.
So they have to do that before.
So they're doing the work for DOT and for AT&T, because they're the ones with the issue, right? I want to make sure that it doesn't come to the city,
No,
that he's
anything
opening
has
holes
to
and
be
then the bill's
approved.
coming.
I understand, but everything has to be approved through us in order for FDOT to pay. This isn't gonna come back on us.
Right, I know by the 18,000, I'm reading this. Like, this change order does not address remedial measures proposed by the final RFP response.
So you see where the contractor is 100% entitled
Yeah,
to
see at the bottom?
the $18,245.03 to be performed the additional
The
work.
additional
So
work.
that's by the
So
engineer.
this additional work, that's already included in this 18,000.
Is that one of the reasons why they're not working on the road right now? Because we got to get that out of the way?
Yeah, it's just it's one of the holdups, yes.
Okay.
But they better.
That's all right, yeah.
I just want an explanation, what does this mean?
What does, with Mr.,
Talking page 52. RFI number
Entitlement
21,
areas.
additional exploratory and survey work to evaluate drainage conflict.
so,
Was this done for FDOT as part of this?
so when they get out there and they're working, they discover things. So this was discovered as a barrier, or a problem to be solved.
Right.
So, right there, when you say, what's this, 1, 2, second paragraph down, this change order does not address remedial measures proposed by the final RFI response. A solution, the EOR said in change 5, inlets tops to type 9 to allow for the box structure to be moved away from the utility. So something is prohibiting them from finishing their work, and they need to remove it. It's not additional cost with Rizzo. This is AT&T is saying, you want us to move it, we charge you.
And FDOT is paying for it.
And FDOT's paying for it.
That, all I wanted was clarification, because it said that it did not include it, so. But if this is for FDOT and not us, then that's fine.
Okay, go to page 57, where it says, in agreement with FDOT specifications, section 4-3.2-1, as an officer or director of Rizzo site. So they sign off, this vice president for Rizzo has signed off to say that they in agreement, and
Well, this is just labor. This is labor burden. This is just saying what they pay for FICA and all of that. But all that I was concerned about is this paperwork is accompanying the quote or the change order that's going from Russo to FDOT. It has nothing to do with the city.
No.
nothing to do with
Okay.
it.
Just approval.
That's it. That's my question.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move to our next item. We have conversion of activities of, okay, that's on the new business. That's already been taken care of. Some kind of way that was on the old business too, so we would consider, we don't have any new business. Next is the mayor's report. There was a proposed hotel. It's not close, but it's inching along. It's not even there where, talk can really come to the commission, but there was some discussion, and it seemed like it's moving forward. I'm just praying for that. We will be able to pay us sometime in the near future materialize, but we're going to continue to work towards that goal of building a hotel, having a hotel built in Pahokee. Also on the just recent vote, I have known due process. There are individuals that they was denied that opportunity because we as elected officials able to do what we say we're elected to do, make decisions. But we also was elected to listen to our public and listen to our Florida League of City convention this week. I just want to encourage our commission. We do have enough time to decide whether we're going or we're not going. And when we wait to the last minute, it's like $550 or so. That we need to really govern ourselves and be mindful. And everybody can have changes, sometimes changes because of illness or other priority that comes up. But this is something that's been an ongoing, not so much for this current commissioner, but the time I've been here, I see it happen too often where we pay the registration fee and
August 9th, City Manager report. Reporting on the outstanding items, audit finding for the 2019-20 and the 2021 from Joint Legislative Auditing Committee that we had to respond by last Thursday, July 28th. And we were able to submit a letter on behalf responding to the audits on Wednesday, July 27th. We still have ongoing Inspector General, Palm Beach County, regarding our accounts payable expenditures and cash disbursement activities from October 1, 2017 to present. This process is still ongoing. On occasion, they will, that office will show up and request things and sit down with various staff. Our letter finding from FDEP regarding marina and campground, we're pending completing contract amendments. We've already requested, I requested a check for $712.66 for a permit to amend and modify our contract. Our contract with the state on the marina will be coming up May 13, 2023. So we will be working towards that process of, generally they do extension in 10-year increments. Also, we're working on construction plans to renovate the marina and campground and docks. We are in the process of scheduling interviews for grant writer, clerk specialist, which is in the building, planning and zoning department, maintenance workers, administrative assistant and executive assistant, and HR director. Staff and contractors are currently working on repairs at the sports complex, cafeteria and grounds, and marina complex, interior and exterior. Our goal here is Everglades Prep Academy has taken the lead, and they selected a vendor contractor to do their roof. It looks good right next door, and school opens tomorrow, so they'll be able to get through with their stuff. And then they've also hired, it's not the city, it's Everglades Prep who has taken that lead. Let's see, then staff, as you know, echoing what the mayor had said, we had a preliminary development meeting with a major hotel chain representatives and discuss options and locations. We also are proud to announce that Pernell McPhee has donated $3,000 to go towards purchasing 117 jerseys, and Mr. Ricky Jackson has donated $5,000 towards getting the repairs of the helmets, face masks, and mouthpieces. So just want to recognize them and appreciate them. Events and meetings, we got the Florida League of Cities annual conference. That's August 11th through the 13th. Also, August is Black Business Month. And then also we have, as Ms. Peggy had pointed out, September 16th, we have the Storm of 1928 Memorial event. That concludes my city manager report, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Can we ask any questions?
Mm-hmm. I think
Okay,
Commissioner Bolden.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. I would like for you to give us somewhat of an update on the status of the process with the director position for Parks and Rec. Have we got any applications? Do we have any dates for interviews?
Just one moment. Ms. Lynn, could you address that?
We have received approximately 5 applications. Now that we are coming to the point where the budget is closer to being finalized, I will be reviewing those with Mr. Lucas, and we will be preparing to set up interviews probably towards the end of next week.
Thank you.
Commissioner Perez.
Okay, and it's gonna be you and Mr. Lucas that's gonna do the interviews?
It depends on, what we do is we have a 3-panel interviewing process, and depending on the position, it usually centers around HR and then the department head and then someone who has that benefit. And then there's occasions I may sit in or Ms. Jongelin may sit in on the interviews.
So it'll be between HR or you or Jongelin? Or all 3 of you? How is that gonna go?
Well, when it
I
comes
wanna
down,
know who's gonna make the ultimate decision to hire.
it's based on score system. So when you're sitting there evaluating, we have numerous questions. It can be from 10 to 15. Then there's assessment for giving preference points for being a veteran and then being local.
So each one of you is gonna be scoring separately, and then you're gonna get together and make the decision.
Yes.
Okay. On administrative assistant, what is that? You
So
said
the
we need an administrative.
Administrative assistant is the lobby person up front.
Okay, so what's the other position that you said? Cause it
So
don't.
you have the executive administrative assistant, which that is shared between myself and the city clerk, and it's going to be the city clerk's backup.
Okay.
So that's very important because at some point,
Okay, so it's gonna be a receptionist and an aide for Ms.
well,
Warren.
we still have.
I mean, cause it's got like sophisticated names. I just wanna know exactly what it is, the job that they're gonna be doing. Cause I mean, a lot of people have that question.
Okay.
Cause they hear all the titles and they wanna know, well, why we need this and this and this and this. So that's why I'm asking. So you could explain it.
Okay, well, Ms. Lynn, do you have the descriptions for these positions that I mentioned? Hold on. So,
And another thing that you said, so we have a contract with the state. You're talking about FDEP? Is that the contract you're talking about, and the $7,000 to renew? I
it's
didn't get that.
$712.66
I mean,
for a permit. And that's to allow us to modify, so they asked us to include some verbiage in there. I don't have it verbatim, but I don't have a problem. I'll provide it for the commissioner so you guys see.
$712
So a
and
permit
$12 for what? A permit for what?
to amend our contract with the state. They wanted language added. So when you deal with along the water, you have the agencies, you gotta pull permits. Same like in when you go down one of the state roads, if you want an apron on the state road, the state gonna charge you for a permit to allow you to build along the state. So that it's a process.
Yeah, I understand, but what is a permit for?
Well, I give it to you guys. I will forward it, so you'll see. 'Cause
Oh,
I
so we
have-
don't
it's a lot
know
of-
yet?
It's a lot of legalese. I don't want to be misquoted, because, you know.
Yeah, I'd like to know what that, okay.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll move to the city attorney. If you have anything, you can share. If not,
Oh, no report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll move to commissioners' comments, and we'll start with Commissioner Bolden.
I guess I'll start by saying, I had my little appointment today, so hopefully the next regular commission meeting, I'll physically be there with you all. I know I've been out for a minute. Everybody knows about my injury. I want to thank everyone, citizens watching and citizens in attendance, for being here with us. I want to congratulate Mr. Lucas on now being our permanent city manager. And I just want us all to continue to work together. It doesn't mean we're going to agree on everything. Of course, everybody's not going to always be pleased with the decisions that we make. I think we should communicate with one another in order to just get some understanding. It doesn't mean that we have to agree, but at least we have an understanding with one another. I'm excited about Pahokee moving forward, and I'm excited about the things that are coming up. I pray everyone you be safe, and do the best you can to contribute in whatever way you can. And that's not just the commission; that's anybody watching. That concludes my comments.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. First, I would like to congratulate Rodney Lucas on his position. The second is I attended a friend's funeral in Port Mayacas this past Saturday, and I stayed there walking, looking at everything. And there was a couple that came from Port St. Lucie that has their loved ones there, and they came with weed trimmers to clean their lots. And they asked us, I think her name is Miss Kelly, the one at the cemetery, I think that's her name. And they were asking if it was their job to keep it clean, or was it the cemetery that's supposed to keep it clean? So that let me know right there that the people out there, the employees at the cemetery, need some extra help. That's quite a bit of land for just 2 people to work out there. So I would just recommend hiring 1 or 2 hands extra to get things done. 'Cause it's sad to see family members coming back, coming with a weed trimmer to clean their loved one's plot. It's not their responsibility.
Especially when they're charged for that.
Yes, yes. And I want to thank everybody for showing up at the backpack event that we had at the high school. It was a good turnout. And thank you PBSO for being there. And thank you community for being there.
Commissioner Perez.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for the ones that took their time to come and sit here and listen to us, and the ones that are sitting, watching at home or elsewhere. Thank you for tuning in and getting involved with the city and the operations. Like I always said, if you have an issue, I don't have a problem with you coming in and setting us straight. If there's something that you think that we should be doing and we're not doing, or something that we're doing and we should not do, I welcome that. Second of all, my thanks to the Sheriff Department. You guys are awesome. You are always very involved in the community, and especially with the youth. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that. Thank you. Also, I want to thank McPhee, my nephew, and Ricky Jackson. We really appreciate that you give back to the community. We really appreciate it. My only thing is that I hope that we are responsible enough to take care of this equipment, to have accountability for this equipment, because we're always in the same predicament. asking for money because they need either uniforms or helmets or this. And if you really count it, all the money that we've received for equipment, I mean, we should fit several teams with that. Mr. Lucas, congratulations. I hope that we could work together, sir. I told you that I will give you an opportunity, and I'm a woman of my word. I'm going to give it to you, and like I told you, my eyes are going to be on you, the paperwork, and every move. And don't take it personal. I'm just one of the members of this community, and I'm who they vote to keep an eye on everything for them. So it's nothing personal. I have nothing personal against anyone sitting up here. I get along with everybody, but like I said, to me, I take this as a job and a business, and business is business, and anything else is extra. So with this, I say good night and safe trip back home. And God bless y'all.
Vice Mayor Mervin.
I just want to give thanks to all of our residents that came out and the ones that are also listening in through Facebook or YouTube. And just to let our citizens know that decision-making and change is not always easy and it's not always comfortable. But I really believe if we could put some of our energy into working together, I really believe we can make this community work. We can make it work. We're not going to always agree, but we can agree to disagree, but we can still try to move in the right direction. Of I said, I believe we all want the same thing, the best for the city of Pahokee. And we all might not get there going the same highway, but if we was just focus on getting there and doing it and just doing it together, I believe we can make it. I congratulate Mr. Lucas. I really believe that he, will do a well job. He's been doing, now, and will continue to do. And like I said, he has 5 of us here that's on him on doing the right thing. So I would just hope that we as a city can come together and just try to just move the city forward, and let's try to just muzzle down some of our negativity, because it travels into the ears of people that we are asking to come to our city. And believe it or not, it's a big turn away. It's a big turn away. So and also I would like to know kids going to start school tomorrow. So we want to slow down in school zone, because I know PBSO, they're going to be out there, slow down in the school zone area, and let's give support to our school, to our teachers, the kids going back to school. But I have one little concern, if Mr. Lucas can address it or no. So I know one of our constituents asked about the scoreboard. Can you give them the update on that they came out to do the scoreboard, but what happened to why it was not
So
installed?
they removed the old scoreboard, and then we got the delivery of the new scoreboard, but the bearing weight, it's double the size of the original scoreboard. So we need additional polling. So I believe the polling is in now, and that should get done this week. What I would like to do, with Commission's permission, us to have an unveiling of the scoreboard. But I know this week we'll be attending the Florida League of Cities. Also, I missed a donation, $1,500 from Pahokee O's.
Oh, really blessed. So that's all. And the next thing is that with our ARPA funding, I think we're the only city that has not even used our first allotment of our ARPA funding. I know there are some issues that we have within the city. First of all, I know one of them is those boating docks that need to be repaired like yesterday. So I'm hoping that we can, I know, if I'm not mistaken, that the ARPA funding, some of it can be used towards that, because it's an infrastructure project. So if we can get the numbers from, the engineer and what it would be the cost to fix those, to get that, because that's something we don't want to lose our lease. You see, every 10 years, the lease for the marina, we have to do over. So we will hope that we can go and get those boat floating docks repaired. So that would be mine. Good night.
I'll entertain a motion to
Wait, the
adjourn.
floating docks, that will have to go out for bid, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I entertain a motion for the adjournment.
So moved, Mayor.
Been moved by Vice Mayor, properly second by Commissioner Gonzalez. All in, call for question here and now. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.